worship leaders actually must be called. Much like pastors, I think in today's culture, honestly, there's kind of a misnomer and a misleading reality about being called as a worship leader. If you're called as a worship pastor or worship leader, it actually does not put you at the same level as a senior pastor. At best, you're probably an elder or a deacon, if we're looking for some kind of biblical term to really give you an idea of like the call. But at the end of the day, probably more like a deacon than anything else. And it depends on your church's context, obviously, when we're talking about denominational structure, whether you observe deacons, whether you observe elders, you name it. At the end of the day, the reality is the senior pastor is there to shepherd the flock. You are there to shepherd the flock in a different way, but the calling is no less important.